Alright, so we're gonna start. So I brought in a speaker. His name's Chago Gomez, and he's just gonna talk about his experience when he was in high school and just a little background of his history. And yeah, so here's Chago.
Wow, there's a lot of people here. This is the first time I've done something like this, so first of all, I want to say thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it, and I love doing stuff like this. So by the end of this, I hope you guys can leave feeling like you learned something, and at the very least, leave with a smile on your face, feeling good about yourselves. Whoa. No worries. Let's start off with grit. G is for glory. Know that I'm going to reach it. R is for realize. Realize I'm going to make it. I is for improving. Improving my patience. And T is for tenacity. My determination. Thank you. Goodbye. I'm joking. but that's going to be relevant later. I hope you guys do your best to remember that. I'm going to have my phone out because I have notes and lots of experiences that I want to keep in order, want to tell the story right. So I hope it doesn't look as lame as I think it will. But yeah, let's get started. So how's everybody doing tonight? Today, this morning. Tonight. Good. You big bad seniors, huh? You guys are almost done. And I feel like I graduated in 2015, and man, I feel like I was here yesterday. It's crazy. I'm glad you guys are doing what you're doing and almost done. Right now, I'm a mechanic on Baldy Mountain. That's where I work. A mechanic apprentice, but let's not get caught up in the details. I'm a mechanic, and in the winter, I switch on over to lift operations where I'm a supervisor. The youngest supervisor, I might add. On the food chain, I'm very low still, but I'm technically a boss. So, it's pretty cool. I enjoy my time there very much. I'm a musician. I play the guitar. I make hip-hop music. And yeah, I also recently just moved out of my parents' house, so that's a trip. That's hard. It hurts my wallet a lot. But, overall, man, I'm very, very happy where I'm at. All the experiences that I've had and where they've led me to. I'm thankful, I'm thankful that I can go outside and feel the cold on my skin. I'm thankful that outside is an oxygen-rich environment. Oh, that's good stuff. And right now I'm kind of sick, my apologies. Hope that doesn't interfere too much, but I'll do my best to get through it. And yeah, throughout my life I've learned to just really take the time to live in the moment and appreciate the little things. But when I started out, freshman year, I didn't always think like that. I definitely had a different mind state overall. I used to be a delinquent, just like you guys. No, just kidding. But being young doesn't make you a delinquent. It's your actions that define who you are. And growing up, I made a lot of really dumb decisions. Growing up, I was actually I'd consider myself a saint child. We were churchgoers. My parents, I had a loving mother that spoils me to death. Still does. If she could, she'd come over to my house and do my laundry, cook and clean. But I don't let her because I tell her I need to grow up. And I had a hardworking dad, who taught me work ethic. We weren't always the closest, but that's changed now. And he's a miracle all his own because he broke his back in 5 places when he used to be a drunk, got in a car crash. And by all means, he should be paralyzed. But now he runs a landscape company, his own. And it's, I'm proud of him. He does what he does. And I thank him for giving me the work ethic that I have now. And then I have a brother who, sometimes siblings don't get along, but me and my brother, we're as close as they come. He's basically my hero. He's my role model, and he's my best friend. I can always talk to him. Never any judgment from him. I've always looked up to him, and he's always been such a good brother to me. and I try to reciprocate that as best as I can. But yeah, when you hear about a troubled kid growing up, you usually hear the opposite of what I had. Getting bullied and trouble at home, all kinds of stuff that can happen, all kinds of circumstances that can lead to that. But some people have more willpower than others. Even people in situations like that, they have willpower. They can overcome these hard times. And me, I didn't have hard times. I grew up and had a just great childhood, And to lead, and as the story progresses, you will see that, I got real low in my life, and how I managed to get there, that was all on me. It was all my own mistakes and my own fault. But as time went on, when I first kind of introduced into this state of mind and life, it was in middle school when my friends first started smoking weed. Oh, devil's lettuce. I'm sure some of you guys know what that is, And for the longest time, I had the willpower, I had the. Whenever that got mentioned to me, my friends would look at me and be like, "Do you want to go do this? Do you want to go do that?" I'd be gone, demon, be gone. I'd literally say that to their faces. And for the longest time, it was just like I was so against it. Once again, churchgoer. I would spend my time doing sports, track, basketball. I'd spend time with my brother. I'd be at home. I'd be doing things that I love to do, and with a clean mind. But unfortunately, I was a romantic, and I'm super dramatic. So once I was at a quinceañera, and the love of my life broke up with me. I was devastated. I was absolutely devastated. And so at that quinceañera, I was outside sulking with my friends, crying about it. And they're like, "You know what you need? You need a hit." And I said, "Whatever, man, let's do it." And that was the first time. And I remember I did it, and I didn't feel anything, but I remember acting stupid just cause. And from that point forward, it didn't seem like that big of a deal to me. It was, it became almost a regular thing. And I know what you guys are thinking. It's weed. It's almost legal. It's no big deal. And just like alcohol. And we all know that nobody has problems with alcohol. Nobody. Absolutely wrong. Okay, some people can handle it and some people can't. And unfortunately, I was the latter. So, growing up, obviously I can't be around my parents and doing all this dumb stuff and doing, smoking up, getting high and being with my friends and doing all this stuff. So what we would do, we would spend our days driving around, going out canyons, driving around, smoking up in our car. We'd go home stinking like weed, driving around, and once again, it became a regular thing. And my first encounter with Mr. Johnny Law, it was actually at that roundabout right over there. I was driving around with a busted taillight at like midnight. We were smoking up. I had a bong in the car, all kinds of pipes and weed, and like 7 people in my car. I drove a Suburban. It could fit like 9 people. It was ridiculous. This is a party car, And so, yeah, we were in there, and I went around the loop twice like an idiot. And the police showed up. I got pulled over right then and there. And I remember he was talking to me, and he asked me for my birthday, and it took me a while. It took me a while to tell him what my birthday was because I couldn't remember. And my parents got called. All my stuff got taken away, and that was a pretty rough ride home. I'll tell you that. It was not the funnest. And let's see. So yeah, after that situation, I got court. I got 6 months probation. I'd be getting drug tested and whatnot. And so I started, to fix my habits that I didn't realize I had at the time, but it started becoming a habit. Instead of smoking weed, I started smoking cigarettes. Started drinking alcohol. And so started with that. And eventually, and probation didn't take me very seriously, and I didn't take probation very seriously either. So I didn't really go to meetings or do anything that I was supposed to do, but they let me off scot-free. And eventually I started smoking cigarettes, smoking weed, and drinking alcohol all together, because, yeah, that was how it got. And there started being tension at home. And obviously, me and my parents, I'd come home super late at night, looking stoned, you know. And I know some people are just like, no, my parents don't know, but they know. They know. It's pretty obvious. They've known you your whole life, and all of a sudden you can't look them in the eye. All of a sudden you're speaking weird. All of a sudden I can't speak Spanish. You know, it's obvious. You know. And eventually, nothing really mattered to me. You know, it got to a point where I really started caring about things. And from a kid with dreams and ambitions and wanting to hike and draw and make music and just be positive influence on everybody, to just wanting to be high and drunk all the time, every day. And eventually I started doing harder drugs. I started popping pills, snorting stuff that I didn't even know what it was. My friends would get their hands on it. I have no idea how. I'd start doing hallucinogens. That'd put me on the moon. I'd be so high and so dumb that I couldn't even talk. I couldn't even talk English at this point. You know, I'd be there with a dumb look on my face and not knowing where I was. And I don't know why I found that appealing. And then as, you know, I think I got into this criminal mindset where I felt I was a gangster. I felt I was doing all this stuff with my friends and we were so cool. So we started robbing things. And in my party car, Suburban, we'd pack up and we'd go to garages and cars and whatever we could get our hands on, iPods, money, cash, blankets, whatever it was. I stole a gas tank. What? You know, and then I put all that stuff in my car. And all that stuff would just sit in my car. And I'd sell the stuff. You know, I'd sell the stuff to neighbors, to friends, to whoever would buy. And eventually that caught up with me too, because I sold it to somebody and they interacted with somebody that I stole it from. And they obviously accused them of stealing. And they were like, no, they got it from me, from Chago. Police got involved, got arrested again. They took away all my stuff. Took a lot of stuff. I don't know how I kept getting stuff back. But, you know, it ended up being, I got into a lot of trouble and more probation, more community service, more court fines. And throughout all of this, this is all my high school career basically, keep in mind that up until very, very recently, I've been on probation. All of this stuff, I had consequences. I had to own up to it, and you know, I had to pay restitutions, do all kinds of community service, pay all kinds of fines, and go to court, waste so much of my time, so much of my money, and I kept doing the stupid stuff that I was doing. You know, excuse me. And yeah. And still in school, I was still trying to do my best. You know, I was still trying to get good grades. I did sometimes, but when I did come to class, I tried to get along with my teachers, get along with my peers. I was somewhat popular, you know. My friends would, I'd be friends with everybody. You know, I was the type of guy that just talked to anybody, didn't matter who you were. I just tried to be nice, you know, but, I still loved basketball, you know. I still would make the team. I'd go to practices, I'd play, and I'd have a great time, and I absolutely love basketball to this day. But, you know, eventually I succumbed to skipping practice as well to get high. And, yeah, it wasn't the best decisions I've made. I love basketball. I wish, you know, looking back on it, I wish I could have taken it back. I wish I could have played. But, you know, let bygones be bygones. And at home, I couldn't even talk with my parents. I was always high. It got really bad. My wonderful mom, she'd always be worried about me, wondering where I am. She'd be texting me. I'd never text her back. My dad would be pissed all the time. But they didn't know how to handle it. And me, I was just, you know, I just did whatever I wanted, you know. And my brother, he went to college, you know, so there goes my role model. And without him, I'm making all these decisions by myself that at the time I thought really didn't matter. I thought, you know, who cares? Who cares about me? Who cares about you? Who cares about all this stuff? Who cares? That was my mind state at the time. And one of the worst instances I remember is when I was arguing with my mom and my dad, and I was just screaming. And I remember they threatened to call the police, and I lost my mind, and I just screamed in my mom's face so hard, and just the look on her face, the terror. And she started crying so hard. And to this day, that's one of the most shameful moments of my life. I can't believe I did that. And yeah, my dad pinned me to the floor. They called the police. My dad's strong, man. He held me there for like 20 minutes till the police showed up. And yeah, they talked to me and finally calmed me down. got everything, the situation de-escalated, is that how you say it? Whatever. And yeah, that was a situation, and still, you know, after that, I was still in my dumb state of mind. At that point, I think I began to hate my parents even, and just that wasn't right, you know, and they took away my car, they took away all kinds of stuff, and so what did I do? I stole my dad's truck and I ran away from home. And yeah, I ended up in Boise when, long story short, you know, I got detained in the back of a church and with all kinds of stolen stuff in the truck because that's how I was surviving out there. And you know, that was a great ride home from Boise. 3 hours ride home with my parents after doing that. Whew, that was not fun. And so yeah, and then I got caught with weed in school, in the community campus actually, and more probation. Just got lengthened, I got an underage DUI, and all kinds of stuff, man. And as this time progressed, I began to absolutely hate myself. I was so angry all the time, just so mad at nothing. But deep down, I think I was just mad at myself for doing what I've been doing. And pretty soon, I began to have suicidal thoughts. I don't think I ever would have really taken action on things like that, but there was one too many times where it crossed my mind where I thought it'd just be easier if I was dead. And so, you know, but I still kept getting high, still doing drugs, still partying, doing all kinds of stuff. And yeah, fast forward to senior year, it was around this time. I remember I did my senior breakfast as well. I was here for that, I was present for that. I actually rapped for that. And yeah, but it wasn't too long after that I had a panic attack in class. And I left and I didn't come back. I dropped out of school. I dropped out of school at that time and I decided to work. I started to go into the workforce and I began working to fuel my habits. That's all I cared. Like still, I was in that mind state where that's all I cared about. I just wanted to get high, wanted to be drunk, wanted to be gone. I didn't want to be real. And so I worked with my pops, I did window washing and I did all kinds of stuff. And actually, thanks to a class that I took here at the community campus, construction, I landed a construction job. And I worked with one of my classmates' parents and him, and his uncle, and a good friend named Ricardo Ayala Martinez. You know, a guy who provided for his family in Mexico and his wife. A really good man, really good man. And yeah, I began working with him, and I don't know if I could have made a career out of that or not. But I genuinely enjoyed it. I like being there, I like doing construction, and I feel like maybe I was going for a turn for the better. But that job got cut short, and I mean really short. I only worked there for 3 days. What happened was I came back from lunch on the 3rd day, and we went up there. And I remember being we were building a duplex. A duplex, and if you know what that is, it's like 2 houses in one. And the center, it was supposed to be 3 stories, and we were done with the first story, so we're working on the first story and building the rest of it. And down the center of the duplex, there was this huge wall already 2 stories high. They had finished the wall. The center wall to divide both things were already done. We were posting it up, nailing it and doing all kinds of stuff, and it was already sheetrocked, and it was, honestly, it was magnificent. It was a beautiful wall. It was massive, just this massive, massive wall. And yeah, it was cool to see, cool to be working on. But yeah, I was there after lunch. We got up there, and I remember I was putting up a frame wall with my nail gun, real quick, and it was then when I saw my classmate and his dad. They jumped off of the first story floor. They jumped off to the floor, and I thought, that's dumb. Why'd you do that? And I'm finishing, and I look up to the side of the wall, and I already see it falling. And you know, it happened in an instant. It was instantaneous. And all of a sudden, I'm pinned to the floor. You know, my left hip is on the floor, and the weight of the wall is crushing my right side. And I look up, and I see blood. I'm just covered in blood from my face hitting the floor. And that's when the scream started. I wasn't the only one under there. It was Ricardo and my classmate's uncle. he was under there too, and they were panicking, and they were I was flailing my arms, I was banging the wall, trying to get it off of me, but to no avail, obviously. It was just too massive. It was incredible. And yeah, I was under there panicking, and it got to a point where this calm came over me, this calmness, and I felt like my thoughts were kind of, you know, some people say your life flashes before your eyes before you die, but to me it was almost like a relief, you know? It was almost like, finally I can just die here and get it over with. And so I was under there for 30 minutes, and I could feel the wall crushing my bones, and it was just incredible pain. But eventually the fire department got there, and what they had to do, they took a chainsaw to the wall, and they chainsawed me out. And when they laid me on my back, my legs stayed like that, so I thought I might be paralyzed. I couldn't feel my legs. But yeah, they shot me up with morphine, and it was a trip, you know. Once again, I thought maybe, I don't know what I was thinking, but I remember looking to the side of me and seeing, you know, uncle being in a panic and just talking to the paramedics. He was all right. But then I looked at Ricardo, and he was just a mess. You know, he looked bad. And at the time, I think I knew already that he died. He died. Ricardo Ayala Martinez. A good man. And for a long time, I just thought to myself, why is the world so cruel? Why does it kill a man who provides for his family and leaves someone like me alive? I've never hated myself more than I have in that moment. You know, I still think about it sometimes. I had nightmares for a long time, and I was in the hospital. And I remember being in the hospital, I had a lot of time to think and reflect on my actions, and think about all the stuff that I've been doing, and think about the hurt and pain that I brought to my family. And I remember being there. And I started getting visited by my friends and my family and people that I haven't seen in years. People just kept giving me love and support, and I didn't get it. I didn't understand why people would waste time on me. I even got visited by the superintendent of this school, and she told me to go back to school. So yeah, I sit and I reflected, and all of this stuff, I feel like it could have made me crazy, man. I feel like I could have snapped in the hospital. I was just there and I was depressed. I was never been more depressed in my life. But I finally came to a conclusion. I came to a conclusion, and I thought, I want to be the person that people think that I can be. And I want to be the person that people think I am. I want to be a person that Ricardo can be proud of. And I want to be a person that I can be proud of. And eventually, after all this stuff, I did, you know, all kinds of physical therapy. I had the best. You know, I got covered by everything. And yeah, I decided to go back to school. I decided to go back to school, and I had to do 9 online classes on top of a 7-class schedule to graduate, if I wanted to graduate with my class. And by the time the second semester started, I walked in. You know, I was able to walk. And once again, you know, once I saw everybody, it was nothing but love and support. Love and support. And they gave me cards, and I remember, you know, the teachers did everything in their power to help me. You know, I remember Miss Canham, she made a YouTube video for me where she rapped, and it was the funniest, absolutely most wonderful thing I've ever seen. Miss Sewell, she raised money for me. You know, all these people, love and support, and I didn't get it. I still didn't get it. I didn't understand. I feel like I didn't deserve it. But yeah, as time went on, you know, I was there. I worked harder than I ever have my entire high school career. I did not hang out with anybody except for my teachers. After school, I'd do online classes all day long, and it was, myself, I didn't think I'd graduate. I thought I would eventually graduate, but not with my class, and to me that was okay. The fact that I was trying to do better, trying to right these wrongs, that was okay with me, you know? But through some miracle, through some way, somehow, I managed to graduate with my class. 9 classes on top of a 7-class, schedule. And yeah, you should see those pictures. I have a huge smile on my face. Huge smile on my face, and it was beautiful. It was an experience that I still look back on, and it makes me happy, and it makes me proud. And so now, let's go back to these. So yeah, I finished that, and seeing all my peers and my teachers being so happy for me, the fact that I succeeded, it was incredible. And give me 1 second. Yeah, it's just unreal. And I guess my point is, life can get hard sometimes, and it's unpredictable. You never know. You never know what's gonna happen. So sometimes we just gotta slow down and take a breath and live in the moment and look at the things that you have. Don't look at the things that you don't have. Don't compare yourself to other people. You gotta know who you are and know what you're about. And like I said, if you want, you really can change. And you guys are in the stage, you're seniors now. Obviously you're gonna go up, go to college, start to work, whatever you wanna do. Change is inevitable, and it's gonna happen. But I hope that rather than be scared of it, I hope you guys embrace it, look forward to it, and do your best to do it in a positive way. Because if I've learned anything throughout my experiences in life, it's that one of the most important things, massively important, is your own happiness. Don't do things because people tell you to do them. Don't do things because it's what your parents want, it's your teachers want. What makes you happy? Growing up, I feel like a lot of people are always just like, you need to make money, 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 money. That's what it's about. You gotta make money or you're not gonna be happy. Well, obviously money is a necessary part of life, but you don't gotta be rich. Rich people, sometimes they're the most depressed. And some of the poorest people are the happiest. It's a matter of perspective. And my perspective now has changed, insanely, like I said. I wake up every day with a smile on my face. I go to work. I talk to these guys, and I go to the gym. I make music. And like I said, I'm struggling financially. I don't make a lot of money on the mountain. But let me tell you something, as a supervisor, I'm basically a professional snowboarder. I get paid to snowboard. How awesome is that? I'm having such a good time. I absolutely love my life now. And it's not to say it's gonna stay the same forever. Change can happen, as I said, but I welcome it and I embrace it, and I do it with a smile on my face. And I hope that you guys can do the same. So, thank you. So, before I go, I was thinking maybe I could rap a song for you. Like I said, I'm kind of sick. I hope this doesn't blow up in my face. But let's try this. Let's try this. Alrighty. Yeah. Test mic check 1, 2. Okay. Once again, I want to thank you guys for having me. And yeah. So sorry. Okay. Seems like every day is another struggle. I've come a long way, people telling me I'm trouble. Should I run away, give in and just crumble? Maybe I should stay and accept that I stumble. I feel so astray, can't figure out the puzzle, but I got something to say, getting rid of my muzzle. Life's gonna go my way, I just gotta stay humble. I'm gonna be okay, never giving up the hustle, man. Everybody telling me that I'm gonna be something, but something ain't gonna happen if I'm always doing nothing, always crying to myself, staying in my room sulking. What's the point of getting out of bed if I'm already broken? All I do is make mistakes, I'ma give up any moment. Relationships break, my words left unspoken. Trying to stay sober, I ended up smoking. Heart's getting so cold, got no room for emotion, and you're gonna fall down. You gotta get back up, you gotta have grit, you gotta have grit. Life's gonna get messy, you gotta brush yourself off. You gotta have grit, you gotta have grit. Said G is for glory, know that I'ma reach it. R is for realize I'ma make it. I is for improving my patience. T is for tenacity, my determination. And my motion is that I'm a worthless kid, a nervous wordsmith without a purpose, and purposely causes so much hurting, always to himself and the people that love him. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm stubborn, maybe it's both, but I learned something from it. You gotta keep going, when push comes shove it. You gotta have a goal, you gotta be determined. And I know we all human, we all make mistakes, but that does not define you. Doesn't matter what they say, doesn't matter what they think, doesn't matter what they do. The only thing that matters is how you feel about you. You don't know why you feel this way so long. You don't know why you always feel so gone. You don't know why it's always going on. But this pain is gonna make you strong. You're gonna fall down, you gotta get back up. You gotta have grit, you gotta have grit. Life's gonna get messy, gotta brush yourself off. You gotta have grit, you gotta have grit. Said G is for glory, know that I'ma reach it. R is for realize I'ma make it. I is for improving my patience. T is for tenacity, my determination. G is for glory, know that I'ma reach it. R is for realize I'ma make it. I is for improving my patience. T is for tenacity, my determination. There's a devil inside of me, there's a level I try to be, a rebel anomaly that's reveling constantly. People look at my image and they tell me it's ludicrous, so well written and you act like a lunatic. By the time that I'm finished, you're gonna be like, who is this? A guy pushing the limits, not afraid to be who he is. Foolish kids listening to the bully abusing us. They say we're not cool enough, let me tell you that's stupidness. You can be who you wanna be, believe it and follow me. You are your own enemy. Love yourself and you see the positivity. Grow as big as a tree, be free from the misery. That's all that we need. Why do we care so much for other people's approval? We shouldn't give to when the people are cruel. Let me tell you, every single one of them is a fool, and they're gonna take that bad energy and use it as fuel to do what you gotta do. If you gotta spit a rhyme or two, but don't let them bother you, cause I can hear them mocking you. I'm telling you, if you stay on your grind, go all in, dude. One day they be calling you ballin' too, ain't no more stopping you. Now you're stomping on your enemies cause you a giant, unlocking the potential that's been hidden inside of our unusual minds. Unfortunately, sometimes we take some pharmaceuticals of various kinds and we forget the whole reason that we started to grind. But don't forget that we are beautiful to God. Now I'm fine, now I'm fine, now I'm fine, now I'm fine. Said G is for glory, know that I'ma reach it. R is for realize I'ma make it. I is for improving my patience. T is for tenacity, my determination. G is for glory, know that I'ma reach it. R is for realize I'ma make it. I is for improving my patience. T is for tenacity, my determination. Thank you.
All right, thank you guys for listening. One more applause for Chago. All right, now we're gonna head to the common area over here. We're gonna start carving the pumpkins, so y'all can head over there. Thank you.
Oh, no worries.